welcome everybody.
Hello.
My name is Kim.
And this is Aika.
That's not your real name though.
No. My name is Justyna. So I'm from Poland and yeah, this is Murugandi. I think you probably know him better by this name. Yeah.
Could be. Today we're gonna have a look at the the German female Go Championships that was played yesterday and today.
Yeah.
We saw a game on KGS, which was the final game of the female championships. It was played between Manja Marz, who is 3 dan, and Jana Hollmann, who is 1 dan. And Jana played as black and Manja played as white.
Mm-hmm. And should we spoil the result? Probably everybody knows already, so...
Well, we can say it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so congratulations to...
Manja! So Manja is the female German champion this year. She played as white and her opponent played as black.
Mm-hmm.
So will you play as black this game?
Yeah, sure. So I think black starts off pretty crazy.
Let's call it adventurous.
Adventurous,
right?
yes.
Let's be nice.
Well, it's just not something I would start with.
Yeah, it's a really high move, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I also almost never play this type of move, but...
Yeah, I like the kind of more boring solutions like Hoshi and the 3-4 point, but whatever you like.
Yeah, so let's see how black is using these stones.
Yeah, Jana continues to play an interesting move and she plays here now.
Okay, and white plays another Hoshi.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, it's Nyenye. How are you? Welcome again.
Yeah, and then black approaches here.
So at this point, of course, white can pincer, but Manja played it very calmly and took the corner here.
Mm-hmm. Is the pincer here actually playable for white since black already has a stone here?
Yeah, I think it's playable, definitely. For example, if you pincer here, black could run out, so could jump, and then start either a running fight or press white down.
This kind of
scenario? This is possible.
Mm-hmm.
This move is actually not played that often anymore nowadays.
Yeah, I know, like back in the day when I was learning Joseki, it was still quite popular, but that was like 8 years ago.
Yeah, it somehow got out of fashion a little bit. I don't know why that is, but yeah, I guess you see running fights more often in this kind of situation, but even now with this kind of move it feels a little bit strange for black, because white will run out and black would like to use this high stone, but the balance is a bit off because there's a big gap here between the stones.
Yes.
So I think actually in this Fuseki, if black jumps out, it's more natural to press down. And now it always depends on a ladder, so if white has a ladder, white can cut here. It's actually quite complicated.
And does black just play?
Yeah, black blocks, and then white cuts. Do you know what to do now as black?
I'm not sure, but I think I would like to play something like this.
Yes, it's good. So black plays there. I have to dig deep here on how this works exactly. I think white first plays the Hane. Let's see if there's already a question. Yeah, I've told Justyna that pressing black back in the day on KGS. I see. Well, it's still a good move, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so black will block. And then... how does this go again? So I think white first plays this Atari. And then... white plays here, yes. So now if black wants to cut, and this depends on the ladder, then of course black plays here, so black will play aggressive.
Okay.
But now white can give this Atari, and sacrifice a stone in order to
this is the
play
matter.
here. Yeah.
Okay. So in this case, it seems to work for white, I think.
Yeah, because this stone is placed all the way on the left, so it's okay for white. Yeah. So white could try to cut. So that's a little bit of a problem with the pressing move. But of course, there's also alternatives for black when white plays like that.
I played too many stones. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we go back to this point, when black presses down, white can play like this. Of course, black is hoping for white to do something like this, because then he can use his high stone.
Yeah, the pressing down variation is something I'm more familiar with, actually.
And, well, back in the day also white used to exchange this for this.
Yeah, and then he jumped, right?
And then jumped, yeah. But actually this is not completely necessary. So sometimes it's even better to leave it.
Okay.
Because it kind of forces your opponent to come back here. And then you have the initiative on this side of the board. So in the old variation, when white played here, black blocked and white jumped. Often black also jumps to create influence.
Yeah.
Sometimes black can also play here because there's a big cutting point.
Yeah, exactly. So I always thought that the reason for playing this move for white is that later it leaves this possibility, which is aiming at cutting off this stone. But this only works if the corner is already sealed off, I think. Because as far as I remember, black still has a chance to make a living group there.
Sure. Yeah, there's still a lot of aji. So let's say that black blocks. And, well, where would black like to connect? It's also a good question, right? Because
yeah, it all depends.
If you connect here, then maybe white wants to cut there. But let's just, for the sake of the argument, say that white simply cuts here.
Yeah.
Then, of course, there is still a big hole in the corner.
Exactly.
This also depends on the outside, but locally there is still a lot of aji, so black might even be able to live.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. But none of this actually happened in the game, right?
No.
No. So black approached.
Black approached and white just simply responded on the upper side.
Yes.
Right there.
And black continued to make some kind of framework.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like more usual. And in this kind of situation, you want to play this kind of move, I suppose, or this to make this kind of nice framework. So now, obviously, black is looking to play this kind of move. Yeah,
to finish the shape and create a very big framework. It also seems like black was preparing something, because it's kind of like you said, black wants to finish the shape.
Yeah.
So black is kind of tempting white to jump in. So what did black prepare? Well, actually, Manja did jump in.
Yes.
And now we can see from Jana's reaction that she prepared this move. And it's interesting to see this move. I've never seen this before, personally.
Yeah, you think she prepared it, or you think she felt spontaneous?
So. No, I think she, well, it could be one of the two, but I think if you play these kinds of high moves, most people are not really familiar with them, so you can try to exploit that. And I think when you play this kind of move, you really want to know your stuff, so you want to check the variations out. Otherwise you can actually end up tricking yourself, you know. There's quite a lot of difficult variations here.
So what do you think of this move?
Yeah, it's that's the question, right? Because personally I wouldn't play it, but I think it's possible. This to me looks a little bit more natural somehow, because it puts more immediate pressure on the white stone in the corner.
Yeah.
However, if black plays there, then white can of course hane, and black can choose to either extend upwards or to extend towards the side. If black extends towards the side, then white will block here. And the old Japanese Joseki is that white plays this really nice shape point. But actually this side is quite interesting. So if white plays there, then black will block.
It seems like a good result for black in this case.
I think so. So
Does
that's.
white have to come back here now, or?
I'm not 100% sure, but I would feel obliged to spend another move in the corner because there's so much aji.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is kind of painful, and that's why I think playing here for white is too early now. So white instead will push on the second line.
Okay. Probably black will let him.
Yeah, either extend or jump. Normally you jump when you don't have this stone. But when you have this stone, I think extending is better.
Okay.
Let's see if there are some questions from the audience. Isnyenye, black was playing Fuseki similar to Ota Yuzo, other than other players from that time. I think Mateusz Surma played this kind of Fuseki. Ah, yeah. Mateusz used to play quite cosmic, right? He played really high moves. I heard some stories from Wiet Brunner, Czech Go player. He used to also study with Mateusz in Korea. And he told me that in Korea, actually, Mateusz completely switched styles. So before that, in Poland, Mateusz was playing only high moves. And then in Korea, he suddenly started to play 3 points and things like that. So it's also really interesting to see how your style can change and how you can experiment.
He has good experience now with all kinds of interesting openings, I suppose.
Yeah, now he's one of the strongest players in Europe, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
No questions. Okay, well, just some remarks. It's also cool. If you have any questions or any remarks, anybody in the chat, please ask them, because that makes it fun for us as well to comment on your suggestions.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I think like in this case, white will go underneath and then maybe play Hane here, or play the same move. Maybe you can even push once more.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably black will extend. And then you can play here or here. Yeah, one of the two. When black plays like this, then you have this shape point.
I think it does seem playable for white, but I really don't like the fact that now black has center and he can play a really nice move. Like here, a high one, I don't know. What's a better move here?
I think first it's very important to exchange the Atari. Because if you forget about it, then...
Yes, white has this very nice...
Yeah, then this becomes all, well, not for nothing, but this high move is just kind of floating. And you want to also create some territory.
Yeah.
So if you exchange this, yeah, then afterwards black can play a very big point.
Yeah.
And it also works together with this stone. So, I don't know, it's playable, but it's kind of what black wants, I think. Black wants to build some influence. And it looks like that's what's going on here. So black will probably be happy with the result.
Okay.
So if we go back a little bit, that came forth from the attaching move, which looks natural, but maybe, yeah, actually the result that we saw was quite okay for black.
Yeah.
So it's playable, of course.
But wait a second, because like this we saw.
Yeah, when black extends.
How about when black pulls back?
It's also possible.
Something like this.
Yeah, white can hane. White can also extend. In any case, this area feels most important. It would not be good to play in the corner.
No.
Then black is very happy to just block. And that's not a Joseki. So instead, white should either extend, and then black will probably play here. Maybe like this. Yeah, sure. It depends on what black wants. Now black is focusing on the lower side, right? And actually these stones are kind of left alone.
Yeah, I think the original idea of black was actually to aim for the right side.
Yeah.
So maybe you could say that white was successful here?
Yeah, in that respect this is quite nice for white. I think black should probably play from the other side instead. So maybe in this case black can also play here. And then white can make a life in the corner.
How about taking the stone?
Taking the stone is also possible, but it's a little bit nicer for black on the outside, because then black can squeeze.
Yeah, okay, I see.
So you have to be careful with this, especially in these opening stages.
Yes.
Because black will be quite happy with this result. So it seems very natural, right, to want to take this down because your territory becomes bigger. But then automatically also the wall of black becomes big. And
and you're very sealed in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Suddenly this becomes really big as well. So I think in this case, giving Atari on the other side is better, and it's the Joseki move.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see if there are some other comments. I think black played in the game Q7 because of what you showed now. I dislike black result. R6 for white is too good in my opinion, but maybe it's my style. Let's go back a little bit. R6. R6 for white. Let's have a look. So white played there. R6.
Here, this one. I think.
This is R6, right? So it's when. It's when white extends. Yeah. So that's why maybe this one is better, right? Is Jana?
Yeah.
You probably like this more.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. This seems to be better for.
I think it's also better in this case.
Okay, but this is not what black plays.
No, well, this is one of the many possibilities, of course.
Yes.
You can also think about playing from the other side, playing in this corner. I mean, playing on this side of the corner.
Would you respond like this?
Yeah, sure.
And then jump? Or?
Yeah, jumping is one of the moves. I think it's a very good move now because it also threatens to go underneath here later.
Okay.
So you're kind of creating a base. Also, black is not completely stable here, so black is actually also aiming at the weaknesses, right? So it depends on if black can immediately play something like this. But I think it's probably a bit too early.
Shall we jump?
Yeah, white can just play there. Yeah. So if black plays like this, then black can just capture, or white can just capture the black stones.
Yeah.
So this clearly doesn't work. But maybe instead of going up here, black could try something like this. But the problem is that this move is high. So if this move would be low, then it's more interesting for black to do this. Now, when white blocks, then it seems like black isn't really going anywhere. Black will be pushed.
Should we attack, no? Or what should you do this way?
I think you can just extend. The idea is that if you Atari, most of the time it's not wrong, but now in this case, black can already see it coming, right? So okay, if I block here, then everything will go down the drain probably.
And then all of a sudden white has cutting points as well.
Yes. So maybe if you play Atari, maybe black will play there, but actually it's quite complicated because the cutting point is also dangerous.
Well, I think white can probably connect on this side because if black cuts here, then there's still this cutting point.
Yeah, also white has more liberties, right? So if black cuts, then it's 4 liberties for white against 3 for black.
Yeah.
So this should be fine. I'm not sure if connecting is the best though, because black will just play the hane. And white becomes really strong.
Yeah.
Well, it's playable, I think. It's not that bad. Black still owes a move as well. Bit of a strange result, I think.
Okay. Shall we...
Well, yeah, just to conclude, this move, it feels a little bit like the wrong direction. So I think, in any case, whatever white does, he's happy because he's being pushed into the direction that black wanted to create something in.
Exactly.
So it's difficult for black to really attack this now. Even if black plays something in the corner, white will be happy. White can even jump out, or it can make this shape. But probably jumping out would be nice for white.
Yeah.
So in any case, these two stones suddenly seem like they're not perfectly placed anymore.
Okay.
So I think that what black played in the game, the direction was okay. So what Jana Hollmann played here, the direction is interesting. But yeah, again, I would probably be more tempted to play this attaching move. It's a very interesting move though, because what should white do now? That's kind of the question, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think what Manja did was quite simple, but also quite effective. I mean, she just played here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the kind of move you would normally play. It's kind of similar to the Joseki when you don't have this move, right? And then you get this, and then what?
Oh, you mean the standard Joseki?
The standard Joseki, like
when black approaches, white plays here.
Yeah, so it looks kind of like from the standard Joseki.
Black plays here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's of course a very similar shape.
Yeah. The only difference.
The only problem is that there's a stone, right?
Yeah. Is it there?
Well, actually, this shape also occurred in the game. So you're right that it looks very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the right move. Yeah.
Yeah. So at this moment in the game, white attached underneath, and I think it's actually the only move here.
And I think actually like what black plays is also the only move.
Well, I'm not sure actually. I think that with this stone in place, it's not necessary to play on the outside. I'm not saying it's a bad move, it's a very good move to play this hane. But my first instinct would also be to play this cut here.
Okay.
Because black is so strong on this side that cutting now becomes dangerous for white. I think I see a question in the chat or somebody coming here. Groeten vanuit Groningen. Bizerno 1992. Welkom.
Hallo.
Groeten vanuit Amsterdam terug. En als je vragen hebt, dan moet je ze stellen. Dan proberen we ze te beantwoorden. If anybody else, by the way, has questions that is not Dutch, also please ask them and we will try to answer your questions.
Yeah, together we speak in 3 languages, so we can answer questions in different languages.
Even in Polish we can try to answer your questions.
Exactly. Alright, so obviously if you're being so cheeky and you want to cut me, I will cut you back,
of course you have to cut. And then black will play this Atari.
Yeah, I have no choice.
And black will play here.
Okay. Well, I kind of think I can play the ladder already.
Yes, that is true. I didn't think about that. That's very good because the ladder is perfect for white. So black can of course still play like this, but this is a good result for white because white can even block here, I believe.
Well, I'm not sure if blocking is the best idea here because black can just cut or
well that doesn't
not
matter. Cutting is not a problem because white can just simply play here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So white can even block and black will have to live small in the corner. Something like this. It's very painful. Black will even probably want to press here or push here because if white plays like this, it's sent against the corner.
Yeah, black will have to play this move to make a life.
Yeah, or here. Yeah, one of the two. But it makes the corner alive for black, but it's locally very painful. Okay, so yes, you're right. White can play Atari on the outside. So maybe black made a mistake in the order of moves. Let's have a look. So when black cuts, and white cuts, then black should not give this Atari. Black should first play here.
Yeah, this is when things get kind of interesting. I never know what I should play in this kind of situation.
What does your feeling tell you, or maybe the audience? What do you think? What does white play at this moment?
Yeah, good question. I have one idea.
O, ile polski mi nie przeszkadza, to angielski stream. Pozdro od Ishigio. Okay, so we will stick to the English if it doesn't disturb you.
Yeah. Okay. Any ideas? What should white play?
Yeah, what's the next move, guys? Hane in the corner. Yes, exactly. Hane is the only move, I think. It's a very big point because if black would be able to play Hane here, then all the troubles are gone. So
yes,
that's kind of the main point for both. You really want to play there to destroy the other's base and to create something for yourself.
How about playing this for white?
To come back to the ladder shape, huh?
Yeah, that was my idea.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe it's good actually in this case, because if the ladder is too good, which we established, then black would like to extend, but it looks very dangerous for the corner.
Because then I would like to play the Hane.
Yeah, I think in this case black is in trouble. Black doesn't have that many liberties. So black is definitely going down here. And if black plays the Hane afterwards, so if black plays here now, then it kind of reverts to what we saw.
Well, yeah, with the difference that black can actually pull here and connect with this stone.
Yes, and of course there is still a ladder breaker, so black could play something to threaten to break the ladder, and then white will have to take the stone. So it's playable, but it seems a little bit of a strange result for black because it's all very on one side of the board. It's kind of balanced though. It's not that bad, but I would say that black can do better than this.
Alright.
So yeah, good suggestion actually, the pulling back. So maybe it's a bit of an overplay in this case to play the Hane on the inside. Because...
what would black play immediately after white plays the Hane that Ishii or Istnienie suggested?
Yeah, so if white plays the Hane, then black will block. And this becomes very complicated, I think, but it looks good for black in this case. So white would, white can still revert to your move, if white wants. But normally white would like to reinforce this stone, play something like this, or just simply connect like this. But this kind of leaning connection is nice for creating eye shape in the upper right. So later if white really needs eyes, he can attach here or play this type of move to create eye space.
Yeah.
In this case, black is again under pressure.
Yeah.
So what black would like to do is play here to make his eye shape bigger, like this. Also, it's difficult timing. Maybe before black would like to play his Atari. At this moment, playing Atari is too late because then white will again take the stone.
Yeah.
So now black has to play here. And white will indeed Hane, because that's the point that black would like to play to make life. Black connects, and if black can play here afterwards, he's alive. So white would like to spoil those plans. And then black will push here.
I will probably extend.
Yeah. Black can probably push once more. It's not absolutely necessary to do this push, but if you don't do it, so if you leave it like this, then this move will become absolute sente for white. So it's kind of sour, it makes it a bit painful. And if you exchange this, then blocking here for white is no longer sente. In any case, you can see that now black is alive and white is cut off. And it's difficult for white to go out here. So white is being surrounded, and now this move actually makes sort of sense for black.
Yeah, probably if white got some time, he would want to play something like this.
Yeah, the problem with this move, however, is that black can just go berserk here.
Alright, I pull back.
Yeah, it depends on the timing as well, because maybe black would like to jump here first. If black now attaris, then it's not good for black, because black cannot cut. So actually black would probably like to jump out first and threaten this group and then do this. So if white plays here, then maybe black will jump. In any case, this will remain dangerous, so white will have to do something there very soon. Maybe white can play here.
Is that?
Yeah, I think so. Looks good. Do you have any suggestions? By the way, we're just making this up as we go, but it looks quite complicated. If you see something that we're missing, or if you have another suggestion, then please let us know.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's any questions. No. Okay. So we continue?
Yeah.
So what would you do now as white? Black just pulled back?
Yeah, I don't really like white here, to be honest.
It's also difficult for black, I think.
Well, I don't know, I feel like, you know, since these stones feel kind of lonely, maybe I would like to go and press them down a little bit.
Yes, I will do that as well. It's a very good move, because it's kind of dangerous for black now. Black would like to connect, but then even this kind of move, I'm not sure if it works, but it looks very dangerous. Of course, white can just simply jump as well, but then it's more easy for black. But white can keep the attack going.
Exactly, and then black can't really build from that stone anymore.
Yeah.
So I think the conclusion is that your cut is quite interesting, as the Japanese would put it.
I think the cut is not good. Yeah, the cut seems like an overplay.
Yeah.
It feels natural when you already have a stone on the upper side, but after all, it's probably not good.
Yeah.
So we can go back.
Hi. Okay, so
yeah.
So I think what Manja played was a good move.
You mean what Jana played?
Oh,
Jana was black, yeah, Manja was white.
Oh, my
yeah.
mistake.
So this is probably overplay. We just established that. So Jana played on this side.
Yes.
And then white simply pulls back.
Pulls back and black connects.
Yeah, I think connecting makes a lot of sense. Should always be careful with these kinds of moves. I think you know, not to do them immediately without thinking, because it seems very natural to connect here or here. And well, personally, I often kind of find out that I do these things in my games automatically. So I play a move and then I think, oh, I should have thought longer about that, you know? Because it becomes kind of an automatic thing that you do in your games.
Yeah.
But for example, in this kind of shape, you could also think about playing on the second line. Or sometimes it's good to play a hanging extension like this.
Oh.
I'm not saying it's good in this case, definitely not. And sometimes it's even interesting to play Tanuki, because this cut, it's not that devastating. In this case, you do want to connect as black, because when white cuts, then the group in the corner immediately becomes safe. Yes, white can capture, and black can of course give this kind of attack.
In this case, does white capture or connect?
White can connect here.
I always have a problem with that. I never know when I should capture and when I should connect.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, capturing is never wrong, right? The rule says that when you can capture, you should. But it all depends on the local situation. In this case, if you capture, then white has this kind of, or black has this kind of nice move to lean and to build something big.
Yeah.
In this case, this is very open as well, so playing here is a bit too vague for black. But this is kind of an option that is open for black when you play the capturing move. And when this stone is here, so when you connect solidly, then yeah, black does not have that option. Doesn't have that game out.
And later this kind of move for black is for white is quite nice as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I learned that from the last lesson actually that we did.
Oh, okay, nice.
You showed me, like I think there was your game against
Michiel Eickhout.
Michiel Eickhout, and on the right side you had a similar situation.
Okay.
Where you showed this kind of move.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very big move. It's difficult to answer for black.
Yeah.
Do you want to play Hane and then be pressed or leave some weaknesses, or do you want to jump? Mm-hmm. Jumping is often quite low. So it's a very big move. And normally in this kind of shape black also wants to jump. Mm. So it's a big point for both players.
Yeah.
So in any case, to go back to this shape here, black connected, and it was a very good move. And at this point, well, normally if this move is not here, then like you said, white wants to jump, right, to finish the shape.
Yeah.
It's a very big move. But because there is a stone here, white doesn't really have a good follow-up in the corner. Mm. And that's why white played Tanuki.
Yeah, and I think it was a good decision.
Let's see if there's any remarks in the comment section. Let's see, Isnyenye. Well, cut would be good, but black stone should be on Q6. Q6 was more natural for me. Let's see, Q6.
Ah, he's saying that this stone should have been here.
Yeah, you think so? Something about a cut.
Yeah, before when you showed the variation where...
Okay, when you cut here, then this stone, yeah. It's closer, so it will help you more, it's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why probably, because this one is slightly more to the upper side, it's not really playable. Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Alright, so let's continue with the game. Black connected, and well, locally white doesn't really have any interesting moves, so white plays the Tanuki. Mm-hmm. What would you do now, Isnyenye, or anybody else that's watching? What's the best point on the board? What do you think?
Yeah, what's interesting for white?
I already know where I would play.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Let's see if there's any responses.
I think there's something.
Lower side, says Isnyenye.
Lower side? That's very vague. Yeah.
Well, it is the correct side, so that's good.
Yeah.
I think it's correct. I mean, there's maybe multiple options, but...
We have another suggestion.
D3, says Vizerdo 1992. D3. Here. Oh. Yes, okay. And Babar says D3 or E4. E4. It's another option.
E4, yeah. One higher.
Ah, yes. This would also be an interesting move, by the way. But yeah, this is also Joseki point. So yeah, I think they're all good suggestions, guys. I think definitely this side of the board is the most important. Personally, I would play here. I think it puts most pressure on the corner of black. Mm-hmm. I have a small problem with this move because black is very eager to take this corner here. And the corner is very big, so I think it's still playable for white. It can jump here. Mm. And then normally black plays here. This is a very old Joseki, by the way. This you also don't really see this often. But now black can jump here, or sometimes here.
Oh, interesting.
I always like this one.
I must say I quite like black in this case, but white does have this kind of destroy the purpose of these 3 stones. You always like to have some kind of extension from here.
Exactly. Yeah, you shouldn't forget that white has Sente, so white can play a move in this area.
Yeah, I think it helps, it's interesting for white. Now it helps this, and it also destroys a good extension for black. So.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, black is not really in danger with these stones. That's something you should keep in mind. I mean, black can always play this point, which is very big, and white will be sealed in locally. First, black can play here. It's a Sente move, because otherwise these 2 stones will be cut off.
So white needs to come back?
Yeah, normally white comes back here, but then this also becomes a very big Sente move. Maybe this is interesting in this case, but it also leaves weaknesses in the corner.
Yeah.
So after this, I'm not 100% sure if white should come back, but I have the feeling that he probably should, because this is very, it feels very uncomfortable. Even if it cannot die directly, this also becomes very big.
Oh, wrong stone.
And then this kind of move is Sente against the corner, and afterwards black can play here. But of course, in this case, white has played somewhere else.
Yeah.
So he has a stone somewhere else on the board. Okay. So in any case, I always feel like it's slightly too easy somehow for black, that he can take such a big corner here.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's probably playable also to play this high approach. I always feel, reluctant to do this somehow, because it's so easy for black. Black immediately knows, okay, I want to play there.
Yeah, I think this kind of move is not difficult to play for even a Q player. Actually, it seems kind of obvious. You immediately want to go for the corner and take what's yours, basically.
Yeah, it's very easy to play this Kema. It's expanding your corner so much. At the same time, of course, you have a dilemma as well here in this position. So you want to use these stones, and in that respect, it's also interesting to pincer. So you might think, okay, I pincer anyway, and then we can kind of come back to Joseki that starts with white actually playing here.
Yeah. Isn't that something that actually happened in the game as well?
This shape also occurred in the game, and it started from white approaching here.
Yeah.
Well, we already kind of gave it away. What will black do? Well, black will pincer. And of course, black really wants to do something with these stones.
Yeah.
Especially because black has these kinds of moves in reserve, so black can build a big influence on that side. And if black can make it work together with something else in this area, then black can really expand and create a big moyo.
Yeah. So black played this.
Yeah. And white has, white has several options. White always has several options, but in this case, I think white has 2 good moves. White could either play the Kosumi, which he did in the game, or which she did actually, because it's the female German Go Championship. Sorry about that. Or white can play this move, and then you can expect something like this. So black will play Hane, white will extend. And where would you play now as black?
Well, the natural move in this kind of shape is always for black to play here, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Of course, if white gets to occupy this point, white is safe immediately.
Yeah.
And this tiger's mouth is one of the strongest shapes in Go. You often want to prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
So black can play here. Sometimes black can also play on the sun point.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if it's playable in this Joseki, in this position, but this is definitely something that's played. Now white can play on 3-3 himself.
Yeah, so in this case, black probably needs to extend somewhere on that side.
Yes, black will probably want to create a base, so maybe here. And then white can attach. So white is solid in the corner, has some territory there, and black is still building towards the outside, and it can create a moya. So black, I'm not sure what black would do now. Maybe some jumping move towards the center. It's actually kind of complicated. Because this is quite big still, and if white can just jump in, then black doesn't really gain anything. So I'm thinking about some kind of jump here, I'm not sure what.
How about something like this? It also threatens this kind of move, which would close white away in the corner.
In the corner, yeah, still in the way. Yeah, it's also interesting. There is also still some aji here in the corner, so if black can play this move, which is very big in itself, then the corner after this is also not completely alive.
Yeah.
Because there's still this very aggressive double hane.
Oh.
And this can create a ko locally. So here white can only make one eye, so white will have to cut.
And then you play the ko.
Yeah, black can create a ko. So this all depends on what's going on in the rest of the board. Does black have enough ko threads? Does white have enough ko threads?
Yeah.
But this is definitely something that black has in the back of his mind when he plays this kind of fuseki. Because this corner is never fully alive when all the outside stones are strong.
I think we have a comment.
Yes, do we have some questions? Let's have a look. Vizerdo 1992. E4 was played in the Shusaku's first castle game. Okay, let me see. E4. Yeah, that's the high move, right? That we talked about.
Yeah.
I believe. Or is it the low one?
It's the high one. I believe.
Sorry for answering so late.
No, I think it just appeared recently.
Okay. We have a bit of a different setup this time. This is the third time that we're doing live Twitch. And now the camera is a bit further away, but that means that the computer is also further away from us. So we cannot see the comments very well. We have to lean all the way forward. So E4 you said, right?
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, so it's definitely a playable move. I'm not saying that it's bad or anything. And definitely in the times of Shusaku, this move, well, I believe you completely when you say that it was played. Even in modern Go, it has been played, but I think it kind of went out of fashion. I haven't seen this in pro games that much lately. Purely because, like I said, it's very tempting for black to take such a big corner. And in the old Joseki that I quickly showed, you get this kind of result. And now black has a big corner and white has this pillar of two stones. It has to do something with it.
Yeah.
And extending towards the side, so to create a base, it's not really interesting in this case because black is looking underneath. So it's difficult for white to create a good solid base for himself because black can always jump in like this or here, or just play this big move on the second line. So that's why in the old Joseki white jumps and then black plays this peep and afterwards bends here. This bending move also looks a bit strange. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just jump here immediately? Well, that's because there's also a lot of aji in the corner when white can block here. So actually this is kind of dangerous with this kind of move here and this cut. So locally it doesn't work. White will be caught like this. But then moves on this side become dangerous.
Yeah, it seems like we can get cut off from your other group, right?
Yeah. So locally this one
this one.
or this, I'm not sure if this also works. It also seems interesting. Yeah, anyway, there's a lot of aji and this move might get cut off. And this point in itself is very big.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting for black to play it because white would like to block, right, to create something. But then black creates a lot of aji in the position as well.
Yeah.
So you have this kind of clamp.
The famous clamp.
Or playing on the shape point. And that's why white jumps. This stone is not there then yet, so then black plays here.
Yeah.
But locally this jump also feels a little bit like a concession because white is so strong. White created this pillar. And then he has to jump so close to his wall.
Yeah.
So for me, always when I play this kind of Joseki, it feels a bit sour, and it feels like this is not really the direction that modern Go is going into, and that it's too calm, but calm in a bad way for white in this case. I mean, like, I think if a professional would see this, they would also say, okay, it's just normal, you know, why are you talking about this? But I think modern professionals wouldn't play this so often.
Okay. Let's go back to the game then.
Yeah, let's go back to the game. So, Manja actually approached here.
Yeah.
And then the pincer was played.
This one.
Yeah, and then instead of playing on top here, white played Kosumi.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Well, I think you do, but why would white want to play this Kosumi? It's also kind of a question for the viewers, I guess.
Well, I think he plays this kind of move to do several things. First of all, he wants to get out with his group to go outside. But since there are two stones here, you know, I think it leaves white a good option to lean, for example, on this stone.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very nice follow-up. So you always want to look at moves that come after the move you play.
Yeah.
You have good moves, good follow-ups. So definitely this is a good move. This also prevents something. So if white plays here, it means that black cannot play there. So if black locally would play on this point, then suddenly white is completely surrounded, right?
Yeah.
And well, in this case it looks kind of painful. White will not die, but white will have to live small in the corner.
Yeah.
And then black gets outward influence, which is kind of what black wants in this game.
Yeah.
So that would be too painful, and that's why white also wants to play there herself.
So, yeah, black played this move.
Yeah, it's an interesting move because normally if you want to play on this side, then the Joseki says you play the small gamer and not the O gamer.
Okay.
So if you play here, then white can bump, then plays here, and white can make life in the corner. It's also possible for white to go out here. Maybe also interesting in this position because then white is looking at pressing black down. So if black creates a base on this side, then this move becomes very big.
Yes.
And if black plays something here, then maybe white can attack. I have to look if it's right what I'm saying. Yes. Maybe white can play something like that. But normally white goes into the corner. And even like this, it's kind of a dubious result for black, because black still needs to create a base. And yeah, why did black play on the left side, right? It feels maybe like it's not the right side of the board.
Yeah, so, okay, white would lean on the left side, but I don't think I would really mind that much as black, since at the time it's the only one stone he has on this side. And it's not really dangerous for it. You're still going to make a living group with this stone. So yeah, sure, white can lean.
You mean when black plays on the other side?
Yeah, if black plays, for example, on this side, I don't mind if white leans here.
Right.
Because I can still create a group on this side, and yeah, white leans on me, but his wall is facing my big moyo. So I feel like white doesn't have a good solution here now. The leaning doesn't really work for white in this case.
I think it's okay to lean for white locally, but I think this is a very good move. So I also think that this area of the board is more important. So black is trying to build something. Black blocked here on this side, and he has big influence. And like we said earlier, black always has this move in reserve.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see that the stones are linked up. And when black plays here, it all starts to work together. So it's a big influence for black, and it will be difficult for white to break that, to really invade. And so I think that playing on the left side now is maybe the wrong side of the board. And in that respect, it's very good to jump here.
Mm-hmm.
It's also one of the possible Joseki moves. And I think this was really, kind of a wasted chance for Jana. So here, this was her chance to, put the game to her hand, I think. She played an opening in which she played a high move, and she was looking forward to play Moyo. But then she kind of got distracted by the normal Joseki moves. So that's also one of the dangers of Joseki, right? If you start to just memorize them, then you think, I know this Joseki, I will play the Keima. And actually in the game she played a very interesting move because it looks a lot like the Joseki, but it's a little bit further away.
Mm.
But yeah, so you realize, this is something I know, and then you play it. But it turns out that actually in the game that you're playing, in the local situation or in the overall board position, it's not the best move. So here it's also a really good lesson, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're pincering this stone. So white plays here, and you really think, okay, I have a good plan. I want to go for the right side.
Yeah.
But then suddenly, when white plays this move, you switch to the left. So it's it's really a pity actually.
Yeah.
Because if that's what you want to do, you could also play for the left immediately. Then it's not necessary to pincer.
Mm.
Of course, pincering is good here, so it's definitely good to pincer. But it's kind of a pity that that black switched.
Yes. So she played high.
Yes, she played one higher, and that's actually interesting because white still played here, like in the Joseki.
Yeah. Black extended.
Black extended upwards, and then white played on the second line.
Yeah, and now black came back to this side. I believe.
I
or
believe
not
so.
yet?
Let's have a look. Yes, now black defended here. Black could also jump, so I think still jumping is an interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's quite interesting that black doesn't have to come back now, right? So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, if this stone was here, then it's kind of important for black to still play.
Sure. Yeah, now it's
on the
really
left side.
it's really open, right? And this is very narrow, so this stone is very close to black's two stones.
Yeah.
And that's why black really wants to do something with the shape. Whereas if this one is here, it's a bit more loose. Black can still escape more easily to the center.
Yeah.
And black feels slightly less obliged to spend another move in the area.
Yeah, I agree.
So in that respect, it's really interesting what black played to basically take initiative and not have to come back on that side. Let's see if there's any questions. Don't get locked up in the corner, says Vizerlo. Yeah, definitely don't do that. It's always good not to get locked up, especially in a corner. And also in Go. So, so in the game, black came back to the lower side, and that was the important area.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's a good move, but
And
I still feel like a jump is nice.
yeah. And now white, I think, played really calmly, and she just took territory, I suppose.
Yes, white played in the top left now, and
I think now black played an interesting invasion. Maybe we should ask what do people think? What kind of move is interesting for black now?
Sure, it's a good point to ask you guys. So, what would you do for black? I think that actually the last move by white is very good, also because it puts small pressure on this group. So next, this is just how I'm thinking about the game, right? So maybe later white will extend from this corner, and it suddenly starts to become quite big, the territory. And then also this group is under attack. So that's what white is aiming for, but is that really very important or not? I mean, the board is still most of it is still quite open.
Exactly.
A lot of space.
Yeah, so I think this is like one of these really difficult decisions in the game. Where should you play now? Because there are several options that seem to be tempting, but at the same time, yeah, it's not easy to come up with a good way of, you know, playing now. What do you want as black? Do you want to enclose that shape there, or do you want to do some kind of invasion?
Yeah, black already put a lot of effort into creating the lower side and creating some strength towards the center, some influence. So maybe black should continue with that, or not. That's the question.
Do you think it's a good idea for black to play this out, by the way?
I think it's okay, yeah, it's very big. So white probably has to respond. If white doesn't respond, so if white plays Tanuki, let's say white plays here, then locally this Hane is quite big. Yeah, black will play Atar. White has to come back, and black comes back. White can make life, but black has become really strong on the outside in the process. So for white it feels better to respond, because when white plays the Hane, white also creates some cutting points in the black shape.
Is this center? Maybe
for black.
For black, yeah.
Well, I think white can live again, but it's once again quite painful for white to let that stone you know, be captured. I'm not sure actually. If we compare this to the result we just saw when white plays Tanuki, then I think that this might actually be better for black, because black becomes very strong on the outside, and yeah, now white does not have this exchange.
Yeah.
White made an exchange on that side, but actually this exchange is more interesting for white because it creates aji in this area.
Yeah.
Here or with a cut. And like this, yeah, it feels like maybe it's actually better to just Tanuki in this case.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, do we have any suggestions for the moves actually?
Let's see. I would attack bottom left corner, says Charichu. Welcome, by the way, Charichu.
Bottom left corner?
Bottom right corner. He corrected it. Bottom right corner.
Okay.
So like we said, like we're looking at it. So let's just put it all back. Okay, so Charichu, you would attack Vizerdo. Tengen. Wow. That's
we don't have this one.
That's definitely cosmic. I think you are the son of Takemiya Masaki. Is that true? Barbar L17 or somewhere around there. L17 or somewhere around there. Also a very interesting suggestion. So first of all, let's say something about the Tengen. It's definitely an interesting move because you continue with the influence building, right?
Yeah.
So we said that black is investing in the center and he really wants to make something. And Tengen is definitely a good follow-up to that.
Already? Or to leave it for a bit later?
Well, I think maybe it's slightly too early. I just take a step back to see the board here. Yeah, the problem for black is that it's still quite open. So white can play moves in this area, here for example, or maybe attach. Also, white still does have something here, although it's not easy for white to find a good move. Because...
Does this work?
Yeah, that's the question. So if black will play here, what will you do as white? Yes. It's necessary to play there, because if you play here, then your stone will be cut off.
Yeah, because it's not possible for white to go through.
White cannot go through like this. And if white now plays here, then black can cut.
Yeah.
So when black plays this testing move, it's very important for white to connect on the outside and not in the corner.
Yeah.
Now there is some agi for black in the corner, but black can locally not capture any stones.
Yeah.
So the best black can do towards the center is probably a keima like this. And it seems quite nice actually. Both for white and for black, because white would like to disrupt black's influence.
Yeah.
So a move like this is very big because it threatens to go inside, and that's also why it's interesting for black to look at first, sealing the corner in. So that's why this move in itself is so big, because it kind of threatens the follow-up of, for example, playing on tengen. So if we look at this result and we say also what Charizu said, that we attack the lower right corner, what should white do? Should white respond to this or not? Well, we saw that if white actually plays the hane, then it's not really sure if he's so happy with that result. Because now he feels kind of obliged, or she, sorry, I keep saying he, it's terrible. Manja in this case would feel obliged probably to play the tiger's mouth. And then black has sent this, so now black can actually play the beautiful tengen move.
Yeah. Good combination, guys.
Yeah. So both your answers are really kind of working together in this case.
Yeah.
So it's very important to seal the corner off before doing the tengen, I think. And if we go to the last suggestion, which was made by Barbar, I believe. Yes. Oh, it was a capital I, says Barbar. It was not an L, it was an I.
Yeah, okay. This looks... well, I like this more than the L.
This is quite aggressive, huh? So,
yeah.
But actually, Barbar, maybe your typo, there was something in your typo, it was some special move, because something very similar to this was actually played in the game. In the game, black played here, which was a bit of a dubious move, we think, because it doesn't really put pressure on the corner, and it also doesn't really have a good extension.
The nice thing about I-17 is that, for me personally, it has extension to both sides.
Yes.
So either way, you can create a base.
Yeah, that's the good thing about the move you suggested, because you're definitely alive and you won't really be pressured.
But I would be inclined as white to play from that side rather from this side.
From this side or from that side?
I think I would like to play from that side.
So you would play something like this?
Yeah, because if black does this, maybe it threatens the corner, but it kind of pushes white to play it here now, which puts pressure on this side of the board.
Sure, that's true.
And how about the other way?
Well, like this, if we look at this position first, so like you said, it's kind of a natural flow, right? So white can now play here, and
it's kind of like a domino. Pick, 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 pick.
Yeah, the moves just follow up very naturally.
Yeah.
And then after this move, there's still a big hole here. So black is kind of hurting his right position in favor of building something at the top.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, this shape, there's something wrong with it, because the corner is still open.
Yes.
Normally, when you have a keima like this and you want to take the corner, you play a kosumi to really, make it very tight, and to avoid your opponent of just jumping in and taking the territory.
Yeah.
So if you have this here, then locally, this move, for example, will be a ko, because white would like to block here. Black can play here. Black will...
I have many magnets.
Oh, some magnets are missing. Black will play the hane. And then,
this,
if black wants to make a ko, then this is the move. So white will have to play Atari, and then black can block, and this is a ko. And so that's one possibility if white plays here. So white kind of overextends here, right? It looks like this is all territory. Oh, thank you. But in fact, the corner is still open, and even this type of move can be played. So this really puts puts pressure towards both sides, it's kind of a question move.
Yeah, but if white just plays this one at the start, then black would not be inclined to play here. He would still, I think, play here.
Sure,
right?
sure, yeah. But saying that, maybe white would play on the other side and not here. So you can also think about playing there, right? And now if black plays here, maybe you would like to play something here to really finish the corner. So you could play here in this case, or you could bump black. So if black plays here now, you could even take a very big corner. This is actually quite a nice sequence to take the corner with a lot of points and still leave some weaknesses in your opponent's shape.
Well, it's a good move for black here now.
Black can play Tanuki, black can also play here, for example. Locally, if black plays Tanuki, white can attack with this move. So this kind of sequence could be attacking, or sometimes white can also play here.
Yeah.
I think there are some remarks in the chat, so let's have a look. How could you close in the bottom left corner though, if you really want to commit the influence, says Charichu. In the bottom left corner.
That will be that one.
This corner. How could you close if you really want to commit to the influence?
So if you're making the moyo, how would you prevent from white?
So what would black basically play in this area to close off the moyo, or let's say framework?
Yeah.
So first of all, let's say that we have this exchange. And then black can play something, let's say in this area. Yeah, this one is not there yet, but okay, let's say it's there for the sake of the argument, and we want to play a good move here. What would we do?
So let's just say black maybe plays here, white responds somewhere on the top, for the sake of the argument.
Okay, sure.
Like, I don't know.
I think a high move then. Yeah.
Alright, and then black wants to enclose his...
Yeah, so either jumping or Keima. I would probably play Keima in this case, because you want to build it in a big way. And of course this move is a bit of a pain, but in this case you can extend. You don't have to block, because you can also give up these two stones in favor for the outside. So that's something that I would be looking at. To just keep building, and you know, you cannot keep everything together in that case, so you can probably not save all of your stones. So I would just leave these for what they are. And if white really wants to, he can cut them off, which is quite big in itself, but it's also leaving black to build another, or to play another move in towards the center to build that moyo. So yeah, I think it's probably playable. Also, this is big. Or maybe blocking directly. But just blocking like this for black is also fine. It's not Sente, but it will be very big. And if white does not respond, so if white does not play here, then black can still take this stone.
Oh yeah.
By playing from this side. So actually, if white would play like this, then black would be quite happy, because black could even force this in Sente. And then play something like this to really go for the center.
I think we have another argument.
Giving up the two stones looks big, so I guess the early commitment has its risk. Yeah, it's of course big to give away two stones, but like I showed, I think it's not that terrible for black. You always want to be careful not to commit to like a huge strategy like building a gigantic moyo in the beginning, though, like you say, because it's difficult to keep going with it, and yeah, you have to give away some things in order to go for a huge moyo. Okay, so let's continue with the game.
conclude, which solution is better for white to play? From this side or from this side?
Yeah, I think that from this side is quite nice actually.
Okay.
Because then you can very naturally both reinforce the upper right and the upper left. So
Okay.
if black plays here, which is also an if, right? Because it's one of the possibilities.
Yeah.
Then white could jump, could play the Keima, or could bump, or could even just take the corner. And it automatically all puts pressure on the black group.
Yeah.
So black still feels obliged to jump. And then as white, you could invade here, for example.
I always feel wary of invading here if I didn't take the corner first.
Oh, okay. I think it's quite good to invade before you take the corner. If you have the corner, then it's very safe to invade, because then you have a reinforcement there.
Yeah.
So when you play here, then it's very easy to connect underneath.
Yeah.
But the benefit of not having this stone there is that if black, it also depends on the ladder, but let's say that this ladder is good for white. Is it actually in this case? No, it's not, I think, because the ladder will go here. So in this case, black will be able to play, yeah, like this, capture the stone. And then this ladder doesn't work for white, so this would be very good for black. But there are some variations that when the ladder is good, when you play here, then black will have to play on the outside. And then when black blocks here, white will go for the outside as well. Black will come back here to defend the cut. And then white plays there. So now you can see that this has become really big, and jumping in the corner is very difficult to make live locally. So you will need some stones on the outside. And if this stone, well, white would now be standing here, it would basically be a point in your own territory. So you don't really need it at the moment.
Okay.
So that's just to show that even without this stone you can invade, and sometimes it might even be better.
Yeah.
But like in this case, it depends on the wedge and if the ladder is good.
Yeah, I actually often make this mistake that I spend a move here before I invade. I will not do this again. Well, maybe I will, but
sometimes it's really good, you know, to make a very strong corner. And this move also takes a lot of territory in the corner.
Yeah.
But it's not always necessary, and you also have to keep in mind that if you invade, and let's say that the ladder is not good, like it is here. So without that move and you invade, and black plays on top. Now you cannot play this because of the ladder, so you will play here. Yeah, black can still revert to the position we just saw if black wants to really block there. Then we get the same. But if black plays on top, then, you know, white is not in danger locally.
He could think of playing double Hane.
In this case, yes, because this stone has been placed perfectly for that. But locally, white will always be able to make live. Sometimes when black blocks here, it's even possible. Yeah, it's even possible for white to play here, but in this case it's not because of the liberties.
You had a similar situation in your game last time, and we were doing a review as well, actually.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, this can come up very frequently, actually, because this move is kind of standard, and it's really nice to connect your stones. In this case, you'll have to play Hane here.
And this could, excuse me, kind of damage your corner.
Yeah, it does. It damages your corner here a little bit, but yeah, you can also say I damaged the right side, right? So it's kind of it goes both ways.
Yeah.
But normally you don't have to be scared of your corner.
Especially if you already have this kind of extension, I guess.
Yeah. And it all depends in this case on the stone that black played here.
Yeah.
Which is very unusual that black has a stone there.
Yeah.
So normally black won't be able to block like that, and then it's much easier for white to make live, and black will not be able to go through like this. Let's see if there is any comments. No, there has not been any comments. Guys, if you have questions, then please by all means ask them, because yeah, we're very interested to hear what you have to say, and we would like to talk about your suggestions. to just state again what we're doing here, this is a game played today, actually, in the female German championships. It's a game between Manja Marz, who is a 3-dan. She's playing with the white stones, and her opponent is playing with black. She's a 1-dan called Jana Hollmann. And this was the final game of the female German championships. And Manja Marz, who played with white, won, and she became the champion today.
Alright.
So, okay, let's go to the game. So we asked at this point what would be a good move for black, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we saw this suggestion, and also this suggestion. You said you have a move in mind.
Did I?
I think you
No,
did.
it was earlier when I would approach the corner, yeah.
Okay.
But I still have a move in mind.
Okay.
Let's see what I will do. Yeah.
I have a move in mind.
Yeah, what would you do?
I would like to play here.
Okay. Yeah, that's also an interesting move. It's a question move to see if white wants the inside, so the corner, or the outside.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think white would do? What would you be scared of for white to play on the inside or the outside here?
I think I would be more comfortable if he played on the inside. So probably he would play on the outside.
Right. Yeah, so if white plays on the outside, then there's many variations, but one of the most simple variations in the corner is when black plays this hane.
Ah.
And then, yeah, just like this. Black can make life here in the corner,
Oh, this
but
is got there though.
it's at quite a big cost because, yeah, white has sente and white becomes quite strong on the outside. So black takes the corner, but at this point of the game, I don't think it's good for black.
No, I don't like this anymore.
But of course, you can do something else as well for black. When white plays hane on the outside, you can also play another hane yourself.
Ah, okay.
It's one of the many possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably play here now because you want to complicate things.
Yeah.
And if white really wants to go all out, white will cut.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know these variations here?
No, I don't.
White can extend here into the corner, and then black will cut, and then black will suddenly switch to the oh no, sorry, I'm messing it up. Black will first play this atari. It's very important, and then black will suddenly shift because this has two directions in which this move is working. It's kind of a miai move. It makes miai of capturing the corner here.
And pulling out here.
Yeah, so playing this atari and then keep pushing. This is
it's kind of difficult for white to like choose this side to capture this stone because this ladder is not working.
no,
for white.
no, and if white extends, it's also very vague. Black will take a very big corner.
Yeah.
It's much bigger than the previous variation we saw, right?
Uh-huh.
So this is not good for white. White actually still feels obliged to capture this stone. Yeah,
I think that's a success for black then.
definitely. Yeah. No, white will almost never extend here. White almost always extends in the corner.
And then in this case, black will die?
Yes. By the way, it's also possible for white to play the hane. Both moves work to capture these stones. Black will play the atari. White will go out. And yes, black can play atari here. Black can also jump. It depends on, yeah.
Nice squeeze later.
Yeah, exactly. If white does not come back, then this squeeze is really
painful.
Oh, it's so nice for black. But that's why white usually also comes back.
Oh, alright.
And then black can even play hane here. And this kind of sequence is one of the possibilities. In this case, I think it's not that fantastic for black.
No, I think I would have preferred to actually atari and extend.
Yes, I would also do that in this case. You can even extend once more if you wish, but you can also,
This is kind of nice.
make a base. I think it's best to create a base now.
So I think this is also quite successful for black since I mean, I think white wanted to focus on the top side. Or
yeah,
at least he wanted to get some of it.
I mean, there's two sides to this story, I think. Black does destroy, let's say, the top potential for white, the potential at the top, but the corner of white is also really big.
Yeah.
And this kind of Joseki, I remember that when I was in China in 2010, I think it was, I was in a school there with a lot of kids, and already this was kind of dubious. So, yeah, I think my opponent played something similar, and he got a huge corner, and I got some outward influence, and my teacher said, well, yeah, it's a Joseki, but maybe you shouldn't play this anymore. So I think it's kind of also a bit old-fashioned, and in some cases it's really good to be able to get this squeeze.
Yes.
But it's usually when white already invested a lot at the top. So for example, if white has some stones here, and then black can squeeze and go out, and then suddenly it's just to destroy all of white's corner, or all of white's territory at the top. So,
or if you already have backup here as black, maybe that's nice.
Maybe
because then
also,
you can make big, territory.
Yeah, it's also possible, but then again, also maybe you don't want to give that big corner to your opponent, so you can also just extend from your own framework. So if black would have stones here, then it's not really necessary to clamp.
Yes.
You can also just make an extension and later still aim to go into the corner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's becoming very vague now. We're just hypothetically speaking without putting stones on the board.
Yeah.
So
okay.
let's go back a little bit again.
Maybe let's check if there's some people saying some things on the chat.
I think we haven't had any comments in a while, so we really need your help, guys. Let us know what we're doing here, and also ask us some questions.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So maybe let's just show the move that the black played in this situation.
Yeah, so the black move in the game was really interesting, but I think it was probably not good. Black played this move. And the big difference with the move that Barbar suggested, I believe, was it Barbar? Yeah. So the big difference is that now, if black is being attacked, well, white will not attack from this side because his stones are already very close to black stone. So white will always attack from the other direction, and black no longer has an extension. So the only thing that black locally can do is to jump out, but then white is also happy to jump along. And of course the corner is a little bit pressured, but if black wants to pressure the corner, it's better to have a stone even closer. And then black can jump in and really put a lot of pressure on white. But because these stones are here, white still has a way out and can also fight with these stones.
Yep.
Sorry, I wasn't watching for a moment, says Charichu, since my girlfriend came by. Well done, Charichu, for having a girlfriend. And yeah, shame on you for not paying attention. Wagaboo, hello Wagaboo, welcome to the game.
Hello.
If you have any questions, any of you, then please pester us.
So, instead of playing this move,
yeah,
this would have been slightly better.
I think it's slightly better because it puts more pressure on the corner. So when black plays something like this, white would be kind of tempted to just take the corner. And then this move will have to show its value because it's just one move standing there.
I don't know. I think I would go crazy as black now and just pester white with this way.
Really? Oh shit.
Maybe. I don't know. Makes things complicated.
It's definitely interesting. I think I would probably fight. I would stand in between your stones. Because this is quite strong and this is reasonably strong.
Yeah.
And this is a bit overextended, I feel. But of course it's possible, right? You can fight, but
or just do this, and yeah, now like you said, white doesn't want to extend there.
Well, I mean,
or
like I said, there is still some problems in the corner, right? So it's not completely taking this corner, but locally it's nice to put pressure on the two black stones.
Yeah.
You can always play Tanuki, of course. It's not necessary to play here, but it's very big. Especially when you can follow it up. So, if black jumps, yeah, maybe white would like to jump again as well. But the problem remains that white can play on San and create a ko. So,
black.
Sorry, black. Yeah, black can jump in and create a ko.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's see the game. Black played here, and of course white played from the outside. White played pincer here.
Yeah, and now it kind of feels like second time in the game, black changed her mind because she played here.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously this move I think aimed at attacking the corner.
Sure.
But this comes a little bit too early.
Yeah, I think so, because now this stone is alone and it's surrounded by 3 other stones of white. Of course, black wants to put pressure on the corner, but it's also not even sure if black wants to play this kema or if black wants to jump in. So if you play this kema, you basically put all your eggs in one basket. You already know, okay, I have to go with this strategy. So if white plays on San, then you basically invested in the right side and you want to finish it. So you want to play another move, because if you don't, then there's still a big hole. Yes, white can always still jump in there, or white can do something like this. There's still a lot of agi. As black, I would probably jump here now afterwards, but it's also problematic because white can jump through. So this stone will be separated, and if black jumps along, then white can also go through here. And then again, black can also lean. So, of course, it's always a struggle. Nothing is completely perfect, but I think it's a little bit too early for black to do this, because black is not 100% sure yet if the right side is really what he wants to focus on. He just jumped into the top, so I think, she, because it's a female player. This is the female German championships. I keep saying he. It's awful, but
I think black in your mind is a male.
Yeah. Let's just say that's the case. Okay, let's see if there's any comments. Q12 seems dangerous now, says Vizardo. Sorry for waiting so long. After the L17 approach. L17. Q12 seems dangerous. Q12. Where is Q12? Invading. Okay, so as white, you would jump in immediately. I think it's one of the points that white is looking at. So it's definitely a big point that white wants to come to eventually. But now I think maybe it's slightly too early because of the ladder. So like we saw, when black plays on top, then white cannot play the wedge because the ladder is good for black. So these stones here for black will ensure that the ladder works for black.
Yeah.
And so white cannot play here, white has to play low. But then black will play on top. And because of this stone, now it's actually quite painful for white to make life here locally. So normally this is a very normal sequence, but because black can block here now, it's kind of difficult for white to make good shape. So white will have to play here. And then, in the normal case, white can play the clamp, but now black can go down in this case, can extend, and white cannot cut, because then black plays there and the stones of white are captured.
Yeah.
So in this case, white will have to play on the lower side, and it's painful when black can extend here. White is still not 100% alive. When black plays here, white is still in trouble, so black feels obliged to almost play another move here.
Yeah.
And as you can see, suddenly this stone became really good for black. So the corner is extremely pressured, and actually now all of black stones are working together. So jumping in is slightly too early, but it's definitely a move that white is looking at.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's any other suggestions. No, after defending the corner. So you meant... let's see. Maybe after the Keima you mean. So after black plays the sliding move. So when black plays here, and then you mean that this move becomes really big, right? R16.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So after the...
I think this was with the L17 variation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way, it's kind of the same. So if white will play in the corner, then yeah, like I said, black kind of owes a move there on the right side, because if black does not play there, then this will become really dangerous. Either here, or even this kind of move to break open the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so in the game this move was played, and then...
and white is a rebel.
Yeah.
She does not play here.
No, but I think it's good that she did not play there, because it's always still available to play on the sun point.
Mm-hmm.
And if black can still jump out, it's quite nice for black.
Yeah.
So because this is such a big move, white played it. It's really nice, I think.
Yeah, she really goes by this, way of playing. Whatever is good for your opponent, you should play it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now it's also difficult for black to go out. So if black will play something like this, then it's a really strange shape.
Yeah.
White probably wants to play on the outside. And
that's a nice side for white.
Locally, it's difficult for black to get a success here.
Yeah. I really feel like now, after white played this move, I would feel really confused what I should do as black.
Yeah, I think playing Tanuki is best, because if black starts to run with these stones, then black only makes more problems for herself.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes heavy, and it's really something to attack for white.
Yeah.
White already outnumbers black, so as we can see, it's 4 against 1 in this local shape. And then if black starts to run, it just becomes worse.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bizardo, black L16, white R16, black L16. Let's see what you mean. White R16, black I16, then white Q16. This was not here. Black L16. That's confusing to me. White R16. Yeah. Okay. I17. Okay, so black plays here. And then white Q16. White Q16. Sorry, Mizardo. I can't follow you at the moment, but please forgive me. We're gonna continue. So Charitsu says, isn't L16 a bit too high? Isn't L16 a bit too high? So this was here. White played here. Black played there. L16.
L16 is here.
Yeah. Guys, you're all making typos, I think. Charitsu, what do you mean exactly? L16. It's a move where there's no stone on the board, so we're not sure what you mean. But maybe we're missing something. Could be. I meant Wizardo's typo. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, right. So Black does play Tenuki.
Right.
She plays at D18.
Oh, she plays very close to your move, huh?
Yeah, she does.
So she plays all the way here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was interesting. It feels kind of like admitting a little bit that she made a mistake. So she played this, then there, and then after this she just plays Tanuki, which locally feels painful. But of course this is big, because when white can play something here later, so very soon if black plays, for example, something here, let's say that this is a big move, and then white will probably immediately take the upper left.
Mm-hmm.
And this makes it even more difficult for black to do something with this stone.
Yeah.
So now it's completely wrong to go out here, because this is already so reinforced that black is just creating big trouble for herself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually an interesting move by black to test here.
Yeah.
White bumps.
Mm-hmm. And black extends.
Black extends towards the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this tell you, that black extends towards the outside and not the inside?
Well, it's not. I suppose the corner is not so interesting for white, because if black just takes the corner, this stone is as good as lost.
Mm-hmm.
While if black extends to E18, maybe this stone can still be used as some agi in running out.
Right, I think so too. So it's kind of sneaky, huh, what black is doing.
Yeah.
Black is trying to use the stone. And we will see how, because it very quickly appears actually.
Mm-hmm.
So white wants to block the corner,
Yeah.
to take the corner. And then this is a local Tsuchi.
Mm-hmm. And now she plays...
Wait, first white.
Oh yeah, sorry.
And then black, yes. So now this move is aiming to play either on top or on the bottom to connect. So if white doesn't react locally here, then black can play something like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And now whatever white will do, black can always connect like this.
Yeah.
So that's kind of painful, because now white invested all these moves, and suddenly, black is connected again.
Yeah.
And now even the corner starts to look weak,
Mm-hmm.
because black already has this sliding move in place. So that's something that white cannot allow.
Yeah.
So white splits the stones.
Yeah, she splits like this, and then black is running out.
Yes, black plays the Kema. Black needs to do something with the stones that she just put down in the upper left. Needs to do something with this group. It's still weak. So she jumps. And white very aggressively also jumps.
This is very aggressive, I think.
But I think it's also quite good, because the upper left is reasonably strong. Black just put some stones in the area that don't really do much. They're weak, and white wants to exploit it. Also, where would white play otherwise? Because white still has some weaknesses in this shape, huh?
Well, I feel like, maybe this shape would be a bit more solid for white.
Mm-hmm.
But it also allows black to run out faster.
It makes it a little bit easier for black as well, I think.
Mm.
Black just simply jumps. So let's see what happened. Actually, there was a big fight here in this local area.
Yeah.
Let's see. Charitsu, to me, taking the corner with something like Q7 now, instead of going D18. So instead of playing D18, play Q7 to take the corner. So Q7 is already in place.
I think he meant Q17.
Q17? Maybe it's my... probably Q17. So would you agree d18 was a tsuji? In my playing grade, a lot of players would have agreed and attacked k17 now. Yes, he meant q17 by the way. It's okay, Charitsu. Let's have a look at your suggestion. So, d18. This one. So we take a couple of steps back. And this move was here, right? So, if this was a tsuji or not. Because attacked k17 now. Normally. So attack this stone instead of in my playing grade, a lot of players would have agreed and attacked k17 now, or would have taken the upper right corner instead of covering the upper left.
They would take this corner.
Yeah, it's very big to take that corner. It's of course possible. I think if black plays there, then white needs to be careful, because if black starts running out, then suddenly the attack of white on black turns around, and suddenly white is being attacked himself or herself, because white locally wants to go out, right? So maybe here, but then black will probably hane, and then white will also go out. So this will become a difficult fight. It's also important who will get this move. It's very big, because if white can spoil the shape of black here, then it's kind of sour. It's very important who will get this eye shape.
Yeah.
And if black gets this move, then there's also some aji to try and connect underneath. But in any case, if black can go through like that, then this move will also be sort of lost. So it's not really having its original function anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself is not bad, as long as the move still would have another function, it would be good, but it's not really doing much.
So maybe white should respond somehow.
I think so. So when black takes the corner, I think it looks quite good for white to play something like this.
Oh.
Immediately, to take this on a large scale. So now, yeah, black still has a cutting point here. Black kind of wants to do something about it.
Immediately.
Well, if black solidly connects, then it's quite slow, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say black does connect. Then maybe white can even block here. It's quite big for black to be able to slide. I think that, yeah, blocking is really big for white, so that looks interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And if white, or if black pushes up, then it also strengthens white. So
yes.
White is kind of happy to just extend.
The move is not really so powerful anymore.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good move. By black?
Well, it makes this quite big for white. So I think...
Well, but it still leaves the possibility to do something in the upper left.
Sure. The upper left, it's like, let's say a tsuji. Okay, it's quite, I think it's a good move. Maybe not necessary to do it immediately. But yeah, going into the corner by black, I'm not sure about it, because it does make white very strong, and it makes it quite simple for white. Because if you do not do something like that, then there is still a lot of aji in the stone, in the black stone.
Okay.
So I would be hesitant to immediately do it, and probably leave this aji for later a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, that was helpful. Sure. You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, so
maybe let's play.
Yeah, in the game where it switched to the left. Your arms are too short. But
Yeah.
my arms are huge, so I can go all the way there.
I cannot reach.
Yeah, so white has to split black.
Yes.
Black jumped.
Why?
And white also jumped. And now black has to go out, so it pushes. And another very fierce move by white is this hane.
Black jumps.
Yes, black jumps. And I'm thinking, is this really necessary? Because
yeah, I considered.
Is this
kind of possible here?
Is it possible, right? It's well, it looks very dangerous.
It does look dangerous.
If white can cut here, then black doesn't have that many liberties. So if white starts to give Atari from this side,
black.
What? Yeah, if black gives Atari from this side, then black is also reducing her own liberties here. Yeah.
Oh, her own liberties. Yeah.
So this doesn't look good.
No.
So maybe it was necessary for black to jump.
Yeah.
Black jumped.
And white, she played on her Keima.
Yeah, so the shape of white is quite thin, right? There's a cutting point here, there's some cut here possible. Maybe here there's still a cut.
Yeah.
So that's the question, huh? Is this really going all out like this? Is it okay for white or not? In the game it turned out to be quite okay. Black played here. White extended. And black played a bit of a crude move. Normally if you don't have to do this, then you shouldn't do it, because of course you kind of bump your head into a wall, and you can only say that this is good if now you can cut and capture the white stones. If that works, then this is a good approach, but otherwise you would probably like to leave this open so that you can cut here, or maybe cut with this kind of Keima. You want to leave those possibilities open.
Yeah, but this is not really possible at the moment. Black does cut just to have it cut, and then she
plays here, yeah. So now suddenly the corner of white is also pressured, but white also has a problem with these two stones. So there's a miai going on, and it looks very dangerous for white.
Yeah,
with the corner, right? However, if white plays something in the corner, so if white plays here, black will extend.
Yeah.
And this looks really bad for white. White locally cannot escape because there is always this cut.
Yeah.
So yeah, white does not have enough liberties to save the stones.
Yeah. On the other hand, if white plays on this,
oh sorry, yeah, black has a stone here.
Yeah.
So you want to say if white doesn't go into the corner but plays here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the game. So white played on the outside. Black connected underneath, and white took the stone.
Yeah.
Which is good because the ladder actually didn't work, right? Black could extend.
No, it doesn't seem to be working for.
So
yeah. What about if black extends?
Black should extend, yeah, because the ladder is good for black.
Exactly.
However, what about this move? Does this work? It seems like it's a bit too much, huh? Black will break out here.
Yeah, especially since there's this cut here and there's some edges there.
And now white only has 3 liberties left. If black plays another move, yeah, at a certain point this will become very big as well. It all depends on if white can keep pushing like this, as a kind of loose ladder. Maybe it actually works. No, it doesn't. It just doesn't work, I think.
Why not?
Because black plays here now. And then black can play Atari. Now black can play here. Oh. So first of all, if white plays here, then black gives Atari, Atari, Atari and goes out. And if white extends to solve this problem here locally, then black can play here. And it will also be a double Atari.
Right, so in the end, it actually was possible for black to start running out with these 2 stones.
Yeah, black should maybe have done it then, because it creates a big problem for white. White already has a problem here with these stones, and then suddenly the top will also be pressured. Like this, yeah. So if that's the case, then yeah, black should definitely play here.
Yes. Yeah, I think that playing this move and letting white take...
It was a bit of a pity, yeah.
Yeah, now white is all of a sudden very strong here.
On the other hand, black does get the chance to attack, and black played here in the corner.
Yes.
It looks like white is in a lot of trouble, but actually this was very interesting. White found some weaknesses in black's shape, and that's how white managed to make life here, and even cut off a big chunk of black's stones.
Exactly.
So black kind of gave away the initiative here.
Yeah, I think now this move she played is quite crucial. I'm not sure if this is the most important thing to pay attention to. It seems like this area is a little bit thin.
Well, what black is trying to do is to get rid of the eye shape, right? So
yes.
Black is hoping to make one eye of this group, but there is a big problem here, which we will see. In the game, white first threw in here.
Yeah.
And then threw in on the other side.
Even better players misread letters.
Letters are always difficult. I always make big mistakes with letters. Actually, I played a week ago. I played the preliminary rounds for the Dutch Championships, and there was one game against a 3-dan. So I'm a 4-dan, and my opponent was 3-dan, and he played a move. And we both, it was a letter, so we both looked at it and I was like, okay, letter works for my opponent. We both glanced at it, quickly read it out, and we both came to the wrong conclusion, because after the game I realized that I can just walk out. And if I would have walked out, then the game would have been over immediately.
Yeah.
I think maybe he might have resigned after like 5 moves, but we kept playing for like 100 moves.
Yeah, and then only after Kim came home, we reviewed the game at home, and then he said, yeah, this ladder doesn't work.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I immediately...
Are you sure? And then we played it out. All of a sudden it turned in one, I think at one point.
It was a difficult ladder to read because it turned. So it wasn't like a straight ladder. It actually it could go another direction, and then it worked.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, losing a game because of misreading a ladder.
Who was the 3-dan? Oh, the 3-dan was Erik Henselmans. He's a Dutch player. And actually, he's very difficult to play against for me personally. I lost to him many times because he's kind of like a slippery eel, you know.
Slippery eel.
He gives you a group. He makes like a slight overplay, and he's like, yeah, maybe you can capture this group, huh? You want to capture my group? And then you start to attack, but he always manages to escape. And then in the end, it turns out that you have some weaknesses. Oh man, I've had so many bad experiences, but anyway, this time I beat him, and it's also not very fair to say that he's always like that, but he has a style where he tends to play a move that feels like it's slightly too much, and then you want to punish it, but it's very difficult to punish. So it's actually quite good what he does, because he really pushes you to your limits. He plays moves that are not really calm, but are actually quite sharp, and then you're forced to either give in a little bit, but if you give in like slightly, let's say 10 times in a row, then you're suddenly 10 points behind in the game. So at a certain point you realize, okay, I cannot keep playing like this, and then it becomes very complicated. The letter turned, yeah. So anyway, those games against Erik are always interesting, with huge dragons. And something could have happened here as well with the dragon, if black run out. then this would also probably have become a real huge dragon fight.
Yeah.
Because white cannot afford to sacrifice these 3 stones, I think.
No.
And then it would be these stones, and a big
separated
group of black separating them.
Yeah, that would have made for a really exciting game as well, actually.
Quite some fireworks, yeah. But in any case, the focus is now on this upper left group.
And here, black didn't capture, right? He on top.
Oh yeah, black played here, yeah. Yeah, black did not capture. Ah, yes. So, sorry, let's go back a little bit. Otherwise, it's confusing. So, the shape was like this.
Yes.
And then black played here. White threw in.
Mm-hmm.
And then white threw in again. But now black decided to play Tanuki. And she played here.
Yes.
Locally, this is a strange move, I think. Because, yeah, not only does it make it easy for white to just block. Locally, this doesn't really get rid of any eye shape. It actually makes it easier because otherwise black would still have these kinds of moves later to attach on the second line. So I'm not sure what the idea was of this exchange at this moment. It's kind of a strange timing. You're not sure yet which of the two you would like.
Yeah.
And then black
connected.
Okay. Well, locally this is not Sente, so now white could start the go, but white actually found a really nice move here.
Yeah.
White spoiled black shape completely.
Yeah, very nice move here by Manja.
Mm-hmm. Now black is forced to block, of course, but then white can play here and can kind of make a miai of going through here or cutting.
Exactly.
It's still very complicated because it all depends on liberties, of course. But white in the game, black in the game connected here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, in my opinion, the game was kind of over because now the corner of black has been captured instead of the other way around. I think actually it was impossible for black to capture this white corner. But now suddenly white has a huge corner with a lot of territory.
Yeah, and all of a sudden black has a problem with his or her own group here. I mean, it's not completely connected yet, so that's stone.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult for white to cut this off. I think that black is connected because locally black always has this kind of move now to take these points. And black already has more or less an eye here.
Yeah.
And black can go out. So I think black will not be in trouble. Even if white plays here, then this kind of move is of course difficult, but in this case you don't even have to give in, you can just capture because now this or this, it both doesn't work because of the lack of liberties.
Yeah.
So if white plays here, it's Atari, and then can even Atari from the outside. Sometimes it's necessary to throw in, but here it's not even necessary. You can just Atari and then capture it.
Mm.
And the same goes for extending on the first line. Sometimes that's a better move than this, because like this there's still a go also, but in this case it comes down to the same thing.
Yeah.
Black will always be connected.
Okay.
So I think in this case actually black is connected and black can even go through here.
Mm.
But because white became so strong with his Ponuki by capturing that leather stone, white doesn't have to worry about that anymore, and white just captured all of the territory at the top.
Mm.
So black played here and white extended. So this was painful. I think it's actually kind of a good moment to stop. I think that after this the game was kind of one-way street. Still it looks interesting because black has a lot of territory here, black has some territory there. But black did give away a lot in the upper left.
Yeah, seems like the most important thing that Jana missed was she did the cut correctly, but then she did not continue with it. So the extending would have been interesting. It would have made for some fireworks, like you said.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So just to quickly show one more thing. So if black would have played differently in this corner, I think it's never possible for black to kill white. So if we go back all the way, This will be like the last variation to show you guys.
Are we going back with these ones as well?
No, this is fine. So it was captured.
Yeah.
So in this case, black played this move, but it's more important to fix the. Oh, it's before. It's more important to fix this shape here. So this wasn't here yet.
Okay.
So black played this, and then white threw in, and then could later attach here.
Yeah.
But I think that this move is crucial for black now to fix the shape. And now it looks like, you know, where can white create two eyes? It's only one big eye, right? But actually, when white again throws in and plays here, it's a sente move. Then white has this move, and it looks like black might still be able to do something, but this actually turns out to be a seki.
So if black plays here,
white will have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Then this one is also sente. White cannot play here because then it's one eye. So white plays here. And black will have to play on this point.
And white must connect here.
White can now connect. So whatever black does, on either side, white will take, and then white is alive. So neither white nor black will want to approach here. So this is locally a seki. So white can never die in this situation.
Yeah, which is good enough for white because it's small. Like this group doesn't really make any points anyway.
Yeah, I think it's okay for white. It's definitely a lot better for black to play like this than what happened in the game. Even though black still has to be a little bit careful now with this cut. But black now has an eye here, and yeah, I mean, it was so big when white could capture all these stones. You know, it's really huge.
Mm-hmm. In the end, Manja just kept playing mostly calmly, and she won the game by about 30 points, I think. No, well, actually, she won by resignation.
Let's see, I can quickly check it.
Yeah, she won by resignation.
Yeah, white won by resignation, and well, it was actually reasonably close on the board, I think. Just quickly check.
This is not correct.
No. Well, I'm not sure by how many points white was leading, but it looks like it was quite a chunk. Maybe like 15 points or something. Yeah, so the end game was quite, white was quite ahead already.
Yeah.
You can, by the way, find this game on KGS. It was played today, and it was transcribed by the user
DGOB1.
DGOB1. Oh yeah, I can
Go
type it here. Deutsche Go 1. So it was the latest game by this user on KGS. So you can go through the game by yourself if you feel like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, we hope that you like this Twitch stream again, and we'll probably do another one next week. Also, if you have any questions for us, or if you have any games that you would like us to comment on, then maybe send us something, because now we randomly pick something that we find interesting ourselves, which is also cool, of course. But if you have anything that you want us to review, then please send it to us. You can always contact me on KGS through my username, Murugandi. It's the same username as here on Twitch.
Or on Facebook.
So yeah, or on Facebook. You can find me as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you. We will see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, thanks, Charichu. That's nice.